All right, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Fans Union for the fans by the fans. Got a special edition episode. Before we get to anything sports, as we told you last time, sorry, let me get my microphone brought over here. Um, my good brother Trip.
Yeah, get right, man. You
The
the deacon of the wedding, man.
Yeah. Well, Trip was recently married on Saturday, so now there is a Mister and Mrs. Streetman. As you can see, got a little bling on.
Yeah,
Congratulations, brother.
my boy
Thank you,
tied that
thank you.
knot.
So we dressed up a little special in
I
honor.
clearly didn't get the memo.
That
You
was the
did your
point of
part.
it.
You did your part already, man.
You're
Yeah,
right. You're right.
Yeah.
your work
The
is done,
suits at the
sir.
suits at the dry cleaner. So if it wasn't, I would go right
There
to
we
that
go.
other room and throw it on real quick.
Yeah.
But
Well, how's it feel?
it's a good feeling, man. I'm blessed. That's all I can say. I mean, like I told y'all earlier, a lot of stress, a lot of things that went into it, but well worth it, man.
Well, congratulations, brother. How was your best man speech? I heard it was pretty good.
Not gonna lie, that was top 3, and it might not be 3 or 2.
All right, he said it, not me. Shout out to whoever did that.
It was
We got
No,
some, we got some
yeah,
horn tooting. No
it
wrong
was
with
me.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
Hey, we got video footage for that coming in some weeks. Our Patreon will get stuff
yeah,
like that. We already talked
that's
about
Patreon
that.
exclusive.
Yeah, y'all know
That's
that.
behind the paywall. But yeah, so congratulations, Trip. We're all very, very happy for you. You knew that, but definitely want to at least give you a shout as a now married man after. This is your first married episode.
It is, and not only did I have a successful Saturday at the altar, so did my dogs. Man, I know we're about to get into it. So
Yeah, I think Trip and I hold the same distinction, both being at a wedding venue the whole day. We didn't get to watch a ton of football. I did get to watch the bulk of the Georgia game though, luckily, and like you said, Georgia really finally a game where we got to see them just shove it. And Logan, I know there's not a better team that you would rather have seen that happen to. So, with it being the Mississippi State Bulldogs, one thing I knew about Mississippi State was they were not equipped defensively to beat Georgia. That's just the biggest thing that jumped off to me is they can make some things happen offensively, potentially with especially with Levy calling plays. But I just even though they went up 7-0, we kicked a field goal, we're driving, fumble, never really discouraged me. And on the same drive, we saw them force a turnover and get a sack. So maybe maybe we're turning a new leaf. But yes, definitely a good omen heading into Texas this week. Which since we didn't watch a ton of games this weekend, we're gonna kind of do more of a preview when it comes to that game, especially. But yeah, so Graham, tell me a little bit about what you saw with the dog shoved it. I know one person that you're going to want to get to, who had a hell of a game, but either way.
No, I mean, some obvious standouts this week. As the only member of the squad this week who was able to watch the game, I think in real time, like on the couch comfortably. I was able to watch the dogs lay a thorough ass whooping, lay some thorough belt this weekend. Kamario Taylor, just as like an honorable mention before I lay in heavy on the dogs, he did do his thing. He scored on every single drive that he actually played in. So a little bit of foreshadowing into the, I guess near and not so near future in the SEC. But beyond Kamario doing his thing, in the sense
Hey,
that
Graham, real quick, for those who didn't watch, tell them who that is.
so Kamario Taylor is actually number 1 for the Mississippi State Bulldogs. He's standing at about 6'4". He's hard to miss. He looks like he can play in any position they line him up in. I think Brooks Austin did a great job touching on that last week, kind of going into the game. And he fit the bill, quite literally. He kind of gives me vibes of kind of how Marcel Reed was able to step into that Texas A&M offense as a true freshman. And even though he wasn't the outright starter at that point, I do think he was battling it out with someone else at A&M. My boy Logan will probably be able to name that quarterback, my quarterback guru over there. But I think he was battling it out a little bit his freshman year, but he was still able to step in and be productive almost every time he did step up. And Kamario was able to do that same with the Mississippi State this weekend. Beyond that, though, I think Georgia was hitting on all cylinders from pretty much start to finish. Mississippi State came out and I think went like 3 for 4 on third downs on their first drive.
They went 4 for 4 on their first drive.
4 for 4. Pardon me. Yeah, excuse me. But beyond that, the dogs started suffocating that offense. quite literally around the third quarter. KJ Bolden laid a hit so hard on Shapen. I thought he was going to get back-to-back targeting penalties. They actually called it at first, I think, and they had to review it. But he was able to, beat that penalty, beat that case, and stay on the field. And the Dogs, just as a whole, both linebackers this week, I think Raylan was able to come away with 1.5 or 2 sacks. A lot of production just from that defensive front and generating pressure and generating simulated pressure when they needed to. Shapen was kind of seeing ghosts for a little bit there before they ultimately stuck Camario in. And as an asterisk, I do have to add that the Dogs had their second and third string defense in at that point as well. If I got to be, I don't know exactly the word I'm looking for, not devil's advocate or anything like that, but if I had to kind of twist this and remix it a little bit, there were some Dogs that I do feel like I was expecting a little bit more out of, given that they were able to get some PT this week. And that is number 7 on defense. He did kind of disappoint me in the snaps that he did get, not turning his head around enough, as Tripp has, addressed so many times this season. And just kind of
Daniel Harris, everybody.
Yeah, there we go. Harris, as much as, we want all the Dogs to succeed, he really didn't show me enough this week, this late in the season, to be getting burned as somebody who I think was expecting to get a lot more. On the other note, Bo Walker was not in that category. I think Bo Walker did an excellent job showing us what he could do when he does get some snaps. And I would love to see him get some more involvement later on in the season. But the usual suspects did what they do. Oscar Delp coming up with timely, necessary first down catches. I'm loving the new first down Selly out of my boy. I love it. And I love the energy that this team is playing with. You can really feel the camaraderie and some of the DNA characteristics that Kirby and a lot of the senior leaders on this team, or veteran leaders, should I say, we don't got so many seniors on this team, kind of have been hitting that all year. And that these guys play together. They play for the guy who's next to them. I know it sounds cliche. I know it sounds corny. But why do you think guys are blocking as hard as they are for the guy who's running with the rock and not themselves, and blocking hard on plays where they know they're not going to get the rock tossed to them, but they're blocking hard 2-3 levels down the field because A, I know when it's my time, I'm going to be able to go get it. And 2, when it's my time, you're going to block as hard for me. You're going to run as hard for me. And these are just some character traits that weren't showing to me at this time in the season last year in some of the more pivotal moments. We were able to grind out wins necessarily, but not in the manner that left you saying this team's growing. Like our roster composition is 48% true freshmen. I really don't think a lot of Georgia fans understand that, and how crazy that really is to say after the run of rosters that we've been, able to watch and been spoiled with over these last 5 years. It's the youngest roster Kirby's had during his tenure with us by far. So all these meaningful wins, especially on the road in tough environments that this group's able to pick up, yeah, that defense looks like dog shit, no pun intended, at certain points. But let's also remember in that same light, there's more freshmen and sophomores on that field than there ever has been during Kirby's tenure. So these guys are learning in the moments that they need to learn. And this Mississippi State win, I think, will ultimately propel them, whether it's win or lose, into a better position going up into a game like Texas at home moving forward. I know I rambled. I'm gonna let y'all eat. I think it's only right I pass it to Tripp, my married brother, and see if you want to chime in.
That was lovely.
No, yeah, I mean, I think you hit every nail on the head. One thing that, because I didn't get to see a lot of the game in real time, but you best believe as soon as I woke up Sunday morning, I pulled up them YouTube highlights. And I tell you what, man, Oscar Delp obviously coming up in clutch in a lot of moments, but that's a dude that can block, man. Like, that is one thing that is going to raise his draft stock higher than anything else, because he's only getting touches a couple times a game, but when he does, it's in a huge moment. But, man, he will take a kid all the way to the sideline. That shit is hilarious to watch. But overall, I mean, the only thing that I want to highlight is Nate Frazier, man. What a day. I know I saw something on Twitter, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, and somebody asked him, what is it that fuels you to run as hard as you do? And he said, every time I touch the rock, I run like I got a gun to my head. And that's what he was doing on Saturday, bro. I know he's had a lot of issues with ball handling that's gotten him pulled out of games early. But it seemed like every highlight I watched was of Nate Frazier just busting one down the seam.
Trip, I know I texted you this, bro, after you mentioned his performance on Sunday morning. But in the midst of that crazy performance, he peeled off like a 45-yard run with one cleat on.
Yeah, I did see
And they
that.
ran the replay back like 4 times and no one said anything. In this celebration he's been doing, I'm going to give you back the mic, but he been playing like a man who I feel like he lost his job.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he played like he's like, I'm going to win it back, but I'm going to give you back the rock, bro.
No, yeah, I think that's how a lot of these guys are playing right now. Just because although this roster is so young, there's so much potential behind it. I mean, look what we've seen out of Chauncey Bowens when he's getting his touches. Like, you got to run like you got a gun to your head if you want to keep that number one spot back there. But I saw Noah Thomas was our leading receiver. Good to see that. I know we didn't throw the ball a whole lot in comparison to other games, but Gunner, man, unreal. I mean, that dude just consistently stays in his bag. I know we're gonna transition into this next week's matchup here in a minute, but I just love that I'm seeing this team consistently play better as the weeks go on. A lot of teams like this, when they're young, they take losses, they let it get to their head, and they just play sorry, and they drop games like this that don't seem as important, but it is at this point of the season. So happy to see them coming all together to get it done.
Gunner's kind of a dude's dude. I don't know of a better way to phrase that, but people who don't like him as a quarterback, people who may not care about football, really like obviously, you've got the he drives a truck, real Southern boy, X, Y, and Z. But man, there are plays where he is the first person to celebrate in the end zone, even if it's a handoff. And like you said, Nate Frazier had a huge game. I think one thing that Georgia's really been kind of known for this for quite a while, is when it comes to running back, I don't really know if we have a starter coming to the season. Obviously, thought it was Nate, but I love feeding the hot hand. Whoever's the hot hand, feed them. Let them feast. That offensive line has been blocking their tails off this year, creating gaping holes, which is something we just did not have last year, and it's totally opened up this offense. So yeah, I'm definitely encouraged from what I saw, what the box score says. So yeah, we'll look at them a little further here when we talk about Texas. Logan, the Rebels were in a barn burner this weekend, huh?
Yeah, real biter here.
I'm about to laugh out loud at that shit.
I'll be honest with you, boys. I didn't watch a down of that game. I fell victim to YouTube TV and Disney still playing hardball and that whole debacle. So wasn't even able to tune in at all. I was also working, so that was a big part of it as well. But my favorite part of the Georgia game ties perfectly in with the Ole Miss barn burner you speak of. My favorite part of the Georgia-Mississippi State game is at halftime, they asked Lane Kiffin how he feels about the game. And he's like, oh, yeah, Mississippi State, they're getting drugged 38-7. I love to see that. Then he's like, oh, you're talking about our game? My bad. So he immediately throws a shot at Mississippi State, which is hilarious. But this is the part of Kiffin that gets me nervous because you're giving this other team bulletin board material. We play them in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks when we play them, there's a high chance, or I guess it's 3 weeks because we have a bye week in there. Or no. Yeah, we have a bye week.
It's Florida this weekend, bye week, then Mississippi State.
Yeah, so we have a bye week in there. So either way, we play them in 3 weeks. The scary part is bulletin board material. Very high chance that Mississippi State loses to Missouri, and it's bowl game or nothing against Ole Miss. And also, it's a very high possibility that it's kick Ole Miss out of the playoffs. So you're giving them they already got the material. Don't give them any more. However, if you do this and then you go out there and smack Mississippi State at Mississippi State, it makes it even funnier. But regardless, I don't like – oh, we good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You're good.
All right. Everything just went black for me for a second. But yes, so that is a little nerve-wracking doing the whole giving them bulletin board material. But as far as Ole Miss Citadel, like I said, I didn't watch anything, but just quick glance at the box score. We allowed 106 yards. That jumps off the page because it's I don't care who you play. That's very little yards. I also looked down. They threw the ball 8 times, 3 completions for 23 yards. How did we lose Joey?
Keep rolling. Keep rolling.
Bro's the host. I'm sorry, that threw me off. All right.
You just broke the fourth.
I don't know how you play a football game and throw the ball 8 times and only have 23 yards. that was insane to me. Once again, it is Citadel, so I get that, but it's like, what are we doing here? So that's cool, fine, whatever. Chambliss had 4 incompletions all game, threw the ball 33 times. That's fun. Quan Lacey had 3 rushing touchdowns on only 11 carries. That's fun. It just seems like Ole Miss didn't play with their food, and I respect that. I'm glad they came out, did what they were supposed to do. They didn't play around. They didn't let it be midway through the second quarter before they woke up. I mean, they jumped out to a 21-0 lead in the first quarter, so that's what I love to see. No need to play with food this late in the season. Go ahead, run it up on them in the first quarter. Let some of your guys get some rest. I mean, Quan Lacey has 11 carries in this game. As we know, there's games where we lean on him heavy for 20 carries or so, and he'll run for 150. So it's nice to see him maybe get some fresh legs here. It's nice to see our third-string quarterback get some time. I mean, Austin Simmons comes in and throws for 100 yards off the bench. So we did exactly what we needed to do. We took care of business. We let some guys get some reps. We got a little extra rest with an additional bye week coming up. I think this is exactly what we need to do. If we're going to have a stink fest this late into the season, this is what you do. You go in, don't play with food, take care of business, get some looks out there you want to, test out, whatever, maybe need work, get some live reps in, keep it moving. So shout out to Ole Miss for being able to do that. And also for Lane Kiffin for the hilarious comment. Whether it backfires or not, it's still hilarious.
Hey, man, there's sorry, first off, real quick. Something was going on my laptop and it kicked me out for a second, but I guess everything kept going.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Sweet. All right. Sorry, as you were about to say, Trip.
I was just going to say, I was just looking at the box score just out of curiosity while Logan was talking. Citadel had 359 yards worth of punts. That is crazy, dog. They punted the ball 8 times to Ole Miss's 2. That might be the most yards I've ever seen in a game punting wise. 359 yards worth of punts.
That's fantastic.
This might be the biggest yard differential I've seen. 603 versus 106. 497 yard total yard differential. That's
because at first, when I was looking at the box score, I was like, damn, Ole Miss threw the ball a lot to be like in a game like this where they're leading so much. And I'm like, well, shit, that's because Citadel couldn't get a first down. They literally only threw the ball 8 times and then ran the ball 42 times. So I'm like, well, I guess Ole Miss has to still kind of throw the ball a little bit if they're going to have the ball for every possession of the game. So,
I mean, we did throw the ball 46 times, but one thing I do like, if you're going to put in Simmons, I do like the idea of not just putting him in to hand the ball off. I like the idea of getting him some throwing reps because you never 100%. Know what can happen. You never know what can happen. So letting him throw the ball 12 times, throw for 100. I didn't watch the game, like I said, so I don't want to speak too much on it. But just looking at the box score, I do find it awfully hilarious, his no touchdowns and 1 interception. Because that seemed like what he was doing the first 2 games of the year. So I don't know how the interception was. It could have been a tip ball, should have been called. I have no idea. But just looking at the box score, I'm like, 0 tuds, 1 interception. That's kind of how you started the season, bud. You were throwing picks, but throwing touchdowns. So
I want to say I enjoy that when any coach puts a backup in and lets them throw the ball, unless it's the last 2 minutes of a game. James Franklin, actually, I don't know if y'all remember this last year. I think it was the SMU coach, or maybe it was a coach in regular season. I can't remember, but basically got mad because they're going for it on 4th down, or they're throwing the ball in the 4th quarter when they're up X amount. And he's like, well, you guys have all your I have my 3rd string in. You guys have all your starters in and are playing cover 0, which is man-to-man everywhere. Like, he's like, when my football players get to go in, they get to play football. So I really enjoy getting to see that. Logan, I was going to say, Florida fans say this week is Lane Kiffin's goodbye week. I've been seeing a lot of it's delusional, obviously, but it's like a
look at Logan's face.
No, it's not even about him more so. It's more like he's gonna realize this isn't the environment that he wants. Oh my gosh, this is their biggest game ever, and it's against a 3-6 team. Just
I will say,
asinine.
I know that betting on these crazy things of who's going to be the future head coach is about as degenerate as it gets when it comes to gambling. But as of this week, Lane Kiffin went from plus 300 to be Florida's next head coach to being minus 300. So that means he's a heavy heavy favorite to go to Florida now.
Oh my God!
Which I don't know what changed in 1 week to make him flip like that, but I don't know if it's because all this shit that's going with LSU that
Jimmy
takes them more out of
Sexton's
the picture.
iPhone. That's what changed. I'm not going to comment no further than that, but yeah.
Well, we don't want to get into that rabbit hole.
No.
Hey, I'll say this real quick. This has nothing to do with coaching changing. I'm not entertaining that. I have not fact checked this, but my parents were in Vegas this weekend celebrating the mom's 50th, which is today. Happy birthday, Mom. So
happy birthday, young lady.
My dad was calling me, just telling me about their trip and whatnot, right? Asked me if I got to watch any of the Ole Miss game, blah, blah, blah. My dad was telling me that this Ole Miss show he listens to, he heard on there that if Lane Kiffin wins out, which is 2 games, Florida, Mississippi State, and then if he wins the first round of the playoffs, so if he wins his next 3 games at Ole Miss, he will become the highest percentage winning coach in Ole Miss history. That's insane.
Damn. Yeah.
He's got to win 3 straight games, and he has the highest win percentage in Ole Miss history. That's what my dad said. He heard that. I haven't fact checked it or anything, but it makes sense because Lane Kiffin has a lot of wins and not a lot of losses at Ole Miss. And just so you guys know, Johnny Vault, it's like the 60s. Johnny Vault is the guy who has the highest win percentage at Ole Miss, most wins, all that good stuff. Our stadium is literally Vault Hemingway Stadium.
I'm about to say,
we go to Ole Miss, what they say on big home games. Yeah, our big home games, they say lock the vault because his name's Vault, Johnny Vault. So I'm just saying, I see a lot of stuff. Honestly, I've seen a lot more analysts say that they think he will stay at Ole Miss because it's the better job at the moment, which I've been surprised to hear so much of that. I've been seeing a lot of that. And to me, that's a good example of like why you would stay at Ole Miss, because it's a very likely chance if you do this for another 10 years at Ole Miss, you have a stadium named after you. Like, no joke. Like, I'm not just throwing smoke. Like, that's a legit thing, legit conversation. So just want to throw that stat in there. If haven't fact checked it, but it on paper, off the top of my head, or not on paper, but off the top of my head, it sounds like it would be right. So if that is true and all he's got to do is win 3 more games and become the highest winning percentage coach ever at Ole Miss, that's insane. And also, you got to go back to the fucking 60s to be able to dig that up is also wild.
Yeah, you might have to buy some more flowers if he pulls that off, Logan.
Shout out Lane Kiffin, dude. Give him flowers again. I'm not going to be the one that – yeah, hey, if we win a playoff game, shit, I'll buy a flower farm, dog.
I do think we have a little bit of a lag going on with you, Logan, but we're going to power through it. So new we're going to transition. We're going to transition into the updated top 25. CFP rankings just dropped. Really not a ton of variance in it from last week. We'll say the biggest thing is just Texas Tech moving up after their win over BYU. Not super surprising, but Notre Dame officially is not in the top 10. They're number 9. So I don't know why. Something about being out of double digits just makes me look at it differently. And look who crept up to number 10. Good old Texas. Of course, we knew that was coming. Which, how bad is it that, I mean, eye test aside, that we went, Georgia, God forbid, knock on wood, loses this game. They're basically in the exact same spot as Texas.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
honestly, kind of shocked game days doing Notre Dame Pitt. I think the only reason is because they've already been to Athens once, so I don't think they're going to go back for the Texas matchup. But out of all games this weekend, I was surprised that was one they went with. I would have thought they went to Oklahoma.
They can't go a full season without blowing Notre Dame once. Come on now.
I thought they were going to go Oklahoma, Alabama, honestly. But
damn, I'm blurred.
Can I hop right out and say it that Sark's record against top 10 and specifically top 5 opponents is arguably deserving of being the biggest talking point going into this weekend, but it won't be.
Well, it's because he coaches for Texas.
Wait, what was that, Joey? My bad.
It's because he coaches for Texas. I don't know what it is. There's like a wall of protectability.
They hung James for that shit, and there's not nearly the pressure in Happy Valley as there is in Austin. So I mean, I just.
I think the difference is James Franklin did it for 15 years. Stark's been there, what, 5?
Where was Sark's last head coaching tenure before Texas?
I don't know off the top of my head.
USC, wasn't it?
I think he was an interim coach. Let me look up. I should know this.
Either way, I mean, his stint here at Texas, I just maybe I'm looking at things in a vacuum, but sometimes I
I'm
think
not saying you're wrong.
I'm not getting at you either, Logan. I guess
No, but I'm just saying
to get to my point rather than ramble. I guess what I'm gonna get at is this, man. I think a lot of teams, and it gets boiled down to like coaching, and I think coaching plays a huge plays a huge factor into it. But I think a lot of teams struggle to deal with how much experience Georgia has with catching the fucking hammer every week for every little thing from the media, man. Like, I mean, if my coach did some of the shit these other teams' coaches did, bro, I mean, the things that they would say about Kirby, I mean, because what they already say about him now with the Alabama problem, but even with the Bobo problem, I honestly think somebody's going to offer Bobo a fucking outrageous contract this offseason to make him their OC. I think a bottom feeder team would try and give Bobo the keys if they could, based off of what he's been able to do this season with this offense. But I digress. I think it's something bad, though. I think it's egregious. His record against top 10, I think it's something real nasty.
I do think, though, that just to play devil's advocate here, I do think you only have, 5 teams or 5 coaches with good top 10 records. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like there's a bunch of coaches out there who are winning records against top 10.
Yeah, and Texas is like the second or third best program to be a coach of. It's the biggest program, so they say, you know. So I mean, I get what you're saying.
No, I get you. But yeah, I think the difference between him and Franklin directly would be longevity. But also, I mean, he has won some pretty big games, been to SEC championships and things of that nature. So it's not like he's just completely underwhelming. He has been a little underwhelming, especially this season with all the hype, but can't put the hype on him, especially with a new quarterback and everything like that. It's just Arch Manning. His last name is Manning, so that brought enough hype in itself. And he kind of laid a dud. Seems like he maybe is turning that corner. Not saying he's all the way around the corner. Seems like he's turning the corner, though. Seems like he's improving, playing better games against better opponents, stuff like that. But, I mean, I think part of it is you're right, Graham. Absolutely. Part of that is that you are right. The other part is we live in Georgia, so we hear a lot more of the Georgia hate for sure, I think. And like I said, I agree with you. You're right. But I think it's a little bit of both.
I think what I'm picking up from what Graham is saying is that, like, Sark gets put on this pedestal like he is one of the greatest coaches in the country when there's other things about him and that program that aren't talked about enough. I agree with both of you. I think that, I mean, and you could do this with any program if you really wanted to pick them apart, but like people talk about Sark like he's a top 5, top 7 coach in the country. I don't agree with that. I think he's a good coach. I think he's a good play caller.
Freeman has done more than him as a head coach already, and I'll say that.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird for him because also, Graham, I looked it up. His last job was at USC, and then he was at Washington before that.
As a head coach?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but it's weird because he kind of gets the benefit of, he's an elite coach. He coaches at Texas X, Y, and Z, but doesn't get the flack that coaches at that tenure or at that level who haven't accomplished X amount would normally get to. He kind of like gets both sides favored in him. It's weird. I know what you're saying though.
He gets the good side. He gets both sides of his stick is good. It's bullshit.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess not a ton of variance in the rankings. So I guess we can go ahead and get into this game. Since joining the
Wait,
SEC,
can I pick one bone?
Yeah, go ahead.
My one bone to pick with these rankings are the same as last week. Why are we disrespecting Georgia Tech? Like, Louisville and Virginia laid duds and lose. They fall. So who's now the highest ranked ACC school? The 2-loss Miami Hurricanes. What are we doing? Why is Georgia Tech not the top rated ACC school? Like, what more do they got to do? They can only beat the opponents in front of them. Like, Miami has 2 losses, and one of them is a terrible
I think
loss.
Tech
SMU.
has struggled with some bad teams, though, Logan. I think that's what the committee is saying.
A win's a win, man. What is Miami? I mean, I don't.
Your loss is a bad loss, and you've struggled with bad teams. I think is what they're saying. It has to be.
Right. But you have 1 loss. It might be a bad loss, but you have 1 loss. Miami has 2 losses, and one of them are a bad loss. SMU, a 10-point point favorite and a loss is bad.
I agree.
Well, Miami's got a much higher strength of schedule ranking, so that probably plays a factor in that. But either way, I still agree with you that I think Georgia Tech fell a little too far. They're still going to be in the boat as teams you don't want to play, especially if you're a Georgia fan, as we are. So, anything else you want to add to that, Logan?
No, I don't understand how Miami jumped Georgia Tech is all. Like, that blew my mind when I saw that. I think that's Georgia Tech falling victim to Miami being a bigger program. I
don't think that's an appropriate way to go with that.
Like,
honestly,
it would kind of be fair. Like if we're comparing Vandy and Texas or something like that. Like, Texas is going to get that upper hand over Vandy. It feels like that situation.
I think most people have already foreshadowed that even if Vandy wins out, they're going to still be the odd man out. Like, somehow Vandy's going to get fucked over. But I know we got to push. But
Well, Georgia and Texas coming up this weekend, primetime 7:30. I'll actually get to watch this one fully as a Georgia fan. South Carolina plays at 12, so I'll have that well out of the way. Last year, Georgia plays them, beats them twice. First time, really dominant effort in Austin. Second time, overtime thriller in the SEC championship. I was lucky enough to go to that amazing game. So what I want to ask you guys, and we're going to go both ways. Give me one reason Texas can win this game. I want to hear. Obviously, could be me. I think the easiest way to go is their defense because they are super talented and super sound there. I was just looking at it. Let me get this pulled back up. In scoring defense, wherever this thing is at,
they're averaging like a lot, like almost 2 tuds a game in defensive touchdowns, right?
Oh no, I'm talking about like a scoring. They're number 11 in the country, and fewest points allowed per game at 16.44. Georgia sitting at 19.78. Is that right? Yeah, 19.78, just right above Ole Miss. Funny enough, at number 24. So I think that this is a defense that's well coached and has a lot of talented guys that can throw a lot of different looks at you, and really make it happen. So, give me a reason why you think Texas can win this game, even if it's the same thing. If you just want to harp on that,
I'm gonna say Michael Taft getting inserted back into this starting lineup. I think them getting Taft back this week is like us getting Starks back if we were playing Texas last year.
Yeah, that's their Starks for sure.
It's quite arguably the exact same advantage. So that's gonna be my straight to it reason why I think Texas could win this game. Him making some insanely big plays like how Dan Jackson and Malachi would make for us.
Go ahead, Trevor.
I was going to say, I think that the way that Texas could possibly win this game is just going to be simply by play calling. We've seen different packages confuse our defense quite a few times this year. And, we've had the opportunity to make adjustments and shut that down. But that could also be what hurts them too. Depending on what they can do offensively with the play calling, because Stark usually is, leading the charge in that. If that offense isn't on the field for a long time, that defense that they're going to rely on is going to be on the field for a long time, and then they're going to be gassed, come third, fourth quarter. So I think it's all going to be dependent on what kind of packages they throw.
To me, I think the biggest play in this, I think Texas has to come out playing like their head's on fire. I think Texas has to come out of the gates gas all the way down, pedal to the metal. Like, they got to be playing like this is our shot at the playoffs. Like
This is.
but they got to play like that. That doesn't, just because doesn't mean they'll come out and not be lackadaisical, So I think for Texas to really have a chance at this game, you got to have hopefully Stark, kind of like what me and Graham were just talking about. Like Stark needs to have these boys fired up. Like you want a chance. Like you got a couple hurdles, big hurdles to get over if you want to prove you're a playoff team. Number one is beating Georgia. Number one is beating A&M in a couple weeks. And the thing is, if you do those two things, they're probably going to have a first round, or I guess SEC championship would matter. But, I mean, there's no reason why they're not a top 5 team easily. I mean, if you beat A&M, you're probably ahead of them in the rankings because you beat them head-to-head. I don't know. I'd have to look to see how SEC standings would play out for championship games, stuff like that. But, I mean, going to the task at hand here, Texas has to come out like their head is on fire. Like I think they just got to come out the gate swinging. And it almost feels like they might have to have some kind of like you're talking about, Trip, with play calling. They might have to have some play calls where it's like you got to throw a big punch and not get scared and get knocked out. Like they might be having to go down swinging back against the wall kind of thing. Just throw haymakers, just see what lands, So I think this game could be interesting. I think for it to be interesting, Texas has to come out, like I'm saying, heads on fire.
Okay, gotcha. Well, let's swing over to Georgia. Why can Georgia win this game? My thing looking at it is it's really going to be, and this could be why they could win or what I think needs to happen. Georgia right now is the fourth highest, has the fourth most rushing yards per game in the SEC. Texas is in the bottom 4, or I guess actually make that bottom 5. They're 12th out of 16. It looks like. Make sure I'm not 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, so 12th out of 16 in terms of rushing yards per game. On the flip side of that, they allow the least rushing yards per game. So I think the ground attack is really going to be critical in this game. Just because if Georgia, typically they've been able to assert their will on the ground, with the exception of Alabama, which that game they were in it to win because of their ground game, right? But also, I mean, whenever they are able to run the ball, their offense is just so much more dynamic. Last year, that's like we were saying earlier, that's what they were missing was a consistent ability to run the ball. And that's something that kind of crippled them the whole year. This year hadn't had that, just a real dynamic attack. You come into Zachariah Branch, perhaps the most effective Georgia receiver since Mecole Hardman, I would say at least. And Noah Thomas finally starting to find his rhythm. A lot of good things going on for that Georgia offense. And I think the ground is really going to be a pivotal note for that. Just a couple more things I want to point out real quick in terms of SEC or Georgia outranks Texas. So Georgia has more total yards per game. Texas averages not much more, about 5 yards more per game in passing. And in Georgia right now averaging 33 points per game. Texas averaging 29.6. So not a huge difference there, but just some things to look after. But I think the ground game is definitely going to be kind of where Georgia presents their edge, and is if they're able to win, it's going to be on the heels of that running back attack that they have.
No, Trip, you mind if I cook?
Go for it.
Go first? Man, I think I pointed out Sark earlier specifically because I think that the coaching matchup in this game will be the most pivotal matchup. Both of these teams' lines of scrimmage are built similarly. We can go tick for tack for who you would rather have between Christian Miller and I'm going to just say Justice Terry because that's the first name I'm thinking of. I'm not even sure if he's getting a lot of burn, but there's huge big bodies on both sides of each front. We can go tick for tack on whether you would prefer to have Colin Simmons or CJ Allen, this and that, KJ Bolden, Taft. What is the distinguishing factor between all of these things? It's who's leading both teams. I think all the way down to like if Kirby gets the ball in the second half of this game, if he starts with it, just that alone is enough for me to go, I think Georgia's going to win this. I really do. I think that there's just all the way down to how he was playing playing with the punt and going for on fourth, simulation with Mississippi State last week. I almost think he was warning Sark, like, I'm with that. I'm with all that. Buddy beat me and sent my ass home the day after my daddy died last year. And I'm not even trying to get into all that and make it about that, but shit happened in real time. And that's what it was. Marcus handed Kirby an L right after he had to deal with arguably the hardest thing he had to deal with in life. And Kirby said, I won't be remiss about this. I'm going to stash that shit and put it in my back pocket. And a lot of people were criticizing Kirby for using that against Mississippi State. Pardon me. Let me let y'all know that everybody was calling that a trap game. And everyone was saying that the way that Mississippi State made A&M look and everyone else look was going to get done ×2 on the Georgia. So if Kirby felt like him coming out and putting all the cards out on the table last week is what was going to push this team through to where they needed to get to, I'm not going to stop trusting him in a bigger, more consequential game like Texas. So I know I went around the world and back, but I do think that I'm going to lean on two things in this game that a lot of people conventionally lean on in big matchups, and it's the coach and the quarterback. And both of them, bias aside, I'm leaning with the dog. So
before either Logan or Trip go, I do want to mention, like Graham was talking about the coaching matchup. I'll never believe in a head coach who calls plays on offense, especially. I just won't believe in it. He's been very, very adamant about this is what I'm here to do. I'm a great play caller, which, to be honest, not many better play callers in college football than him. I mean, this is a guy who's had success. I mean, when he was that first year he took over for the Falcons, they had an unreal offense. Everywhere he goes, man, their offense gets better. No doubt about that. But when you're a head coach, man, there's so many things else to worry about. You're not worried about what plays getting called next or anything like that. I mean, obviously you do have control over that, but instead of having to make these calls, you're really being able to fully develop your attention on what's going on and not what's being called. So that's something I'll definitely look out for. And just simply, I just don't believe in. But Trip, Logan, whichever one of you.
Go ahead, Logan.
Yeah, I'll jump in so Trip can give the final Georgia take here. I believe your initial question, if I remember correctly, was why can't Georgia win this game?
Why can they? Or like I said, why can Texas win this game? Why can Georgia?
Oh, why can? Okay. I thought you said can't. Well, to answer why can't they can, is what I was going to say. They can easily win this game. Kind of like what Graham's touching on. It comes down, every matchup, first thing I'm looking at is coach and quarterback. I was quoted earlier in the year multiple times saying I don't know how much I believe in Gunnar Stockton being able to throw the ball. I believe in Gunnar Stockton being able to throw the football. I stand corrected. He has proven it enough times. It's not a fluke anymore. It wasn't just one good matchup. Like, guy can ball, and guy has been balling all year. Like, Gunnar has shut me up. I believe in you. And I think the biggest part of that is shout out Mike Bobo. We were talking about that. He's had a great year. But on top of that, I firmly believe Kirby Smart is the best head coach in football. I've said it since the day Nick Saban retired. I'm not a Georgia fan, but Kirby Smart is that guy. I solely believe it. Any Georgia fans who hype up Kirby, I will never shut them up. I understand. I don't shut up about Lane Kiffin, so why would I expect you to shut up about Kirby Smart? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's as simple as that.
And I won't shut up about him.
I won't either, as long as he's my head coach,
And won't.
Yeah. And if Lane Kiffin does leave this offseason, I probably still won't shut up about him. I'll just be crying when I mention his name. So get used to it. It is what it is. But I mean, it literally just comes down to that for me. And it comes down to the fact of people want to talk trash about Kirby and Alabama has his number. Well, is it safe to say Kirby Smart has Texas's number at this point? I mean, like, let's be honest here. Has Texas beat Georgia yet since they joined the SEC? And they've lost 3 times, right?
No, they lost twice. Texas beat them in the Sugar Bowl in 2019.
But they weren't in the SEC then.
So right, I know.
I was saying since they joined. But
and
also,
that's the what's that? Longhorn Nation, we're back.
Was Stark their coach then, though?
No, he wasn't.
Okay. So this is all proving my point here. This is why
I just wanted to bring it up.
I think it was Herman, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was Tom Herman.
But yeah, I mean, that just goes to exactly my point, though. this just kind of feels like Big Brother right now to me. And Nick Saban kind of felt like dad and son with him and Kirby for whatever reason. It just felt like dad was just like, I still got it, young man. Well, with Kirby, it's still like, I still got it, little bro. That's what it feels like with him and Stark. And I mean, I'm an unbiased opinion here, and I'm saying that I believe in Kirby, dude. I think Kirby's the best football coach in college. So that's why I think they can win.
One thing I love about him, man, is this is not one of those games that I'm about to mention, but Georgia very rarely loses a game that they shouldn't lose, right? And I'm whatever you consider that to be, but when's the last what Georgia he has like some ungodly streak against unranked teams.
It's like 56 or something, or 58.
It's something like that.
58 now.
Yeah. I'm gonna look it up, but so clearly he knows. Hey, it's time to when it's time to get ready for a game, that he's the guy who's gonna thrive at getting it done. While I look that up, go ahead, Trip.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go on too long of a rant, but I'm gonna hit on a couple of y'all's points, and then I'm gonna bring up some other things that I think are really important going to this matchup. So, obviously Graham and Logan both talking about coaching, and then obviously Graham made a good point about, looking at who's behind center as well. So I brought this list up a few weeks ago, but obviously it's changed over the last few weeks. When it comes to quarterbacks in SEC play rankings, Gunner still at number 1, hasn't left that spot over the last few weeks. He's number 1 in completions percentage, tied for first in touchdowns, tied for second in interceptions, and he has the highest QBR in the SEC. When it comes to national rankings, Gunner is 3rd in the nation in QBR. Arch Manning is 59th. So pretty large gap between the two there. Now, obviously, QBR doesn't tell you everything. I'm not taking anything away from Arch. I still think he's, a talented quarterback. But to get to the points that I want to make that are separate from those, Texas has been on the road 4 times this year. Ohio State lost. Florida shit the bed. Mississippi State overtime to get that win. Kentucky
should have lost.
Should have lost, yeah. Kentucky took going to overtime to win. So this team has proven that they struggle on the road. And I think that Georgia has proven over the last however many years now under Kirby, especially as of late, that going into Athens at night is not an easy task for anybody. Going to Athens in general is not an easy task, but going there at night is another conversation. So I think that plays a factor. I think another really, really important thing and this is another huge reason why I want to see this pull this out, there's a lot of reports about how many recruits are about to be at this game for Georgia. And I think a lot of that is done on purpose by Kirby because of how many recruits Texas has gotten from Georgia or flipped from Georgia. And I would love to see nothing more than to see all those recruits see like, yeah, y'all can go chase a little bit of a bag if y'all want, but y'all are going to be a little bro every time you do. So that's one of the reasons why I want to see us pull it off. Aside from that, just in general, there's a lot of playoff implications on the line for both teams here. And that's a good thing, but that's also a scary thing. Texas is not getting in the playoff with a 3rd loss. So they have to go, like Logan was saying earlier, they have to go into Athens, and they got to play at Texas A&M week 12. You go into Texas A&M week 12 with 3 losses, you're not getting in, no matter whether you win or lose. Maybe you get lucky and some teams ahead of you fall down and you somehow sneak into one of those last spots. But this is a must-win game for Texas for every week from now on. Georgia doesn't want to lose this game either because they don't want to go play Georgia Tech either with 2 losses in the column. That's a scary thing to think about. So right now with how the SEC is playing out, neither one of these teams is – I mean, technically they're fighting for the SEC title because anything can happen at this point. But we're looking ahead at the playoff at this point. And then the last point I wanted to make, Joey, you made a good point earlier talking about, not trusting coaches that make play calls. I had this pulled up earlier, and it's funny that you actually brought it up. So in the last 40 years, there have only been 4 head coaches to win a national championship that made their own play calls either offensively or defensively. One of them is only in the last 25 years. You guys want to take a guess who those 4 are? There's a couple of you might not guess, but
I thought you was going to only ask us about the one in the last 25.
Yeah, go ahead. That's probably going to be the easiest one to guess, but it's still going to be tough.
Is it Stoops?
Is it recent or no?
He said last 25 years.
So last 25 years.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, is it closer to 25 years ago or closer to today?
I think this one was. This is about 15 years.
Cam's coach at Auburn when he won?
Yeah.
No, that was Gene Chizik.
Oh yeah, Gene Chizik. You're right.
I'll just go ahead and tell you off a good time if y'all want me to.
Hold on. You said when was it closer? Was it closer to 2000 or closer to 2010?
Closer to 2010.
Okay. Let me get one guess.
Nick Saban, LSU, 2007.
Oh, is it Les Miles? Wow.
That's all.
Graham, you get one guess, and then I'm gonna spurt it out.
I was thinking maybe a younger Saban at LSU called defensive plays or something crazy.
He left there in 04, or he won in 04.
No way, Coach O was calling his own plays.
No, it's Jimbo Fisher, Florida State.
He crossed the line, but I did.
He's the last head coach to call their own plays offensively or defensively to win a national championship. The other three coaches are Tom Osborne in Nebraska, Steve Spurrier when he was at Florida, and then Joe Paterno at Penn State. So, I mean,
it makes sense. He's a fossil already. He was acting like that. You know?
So, you know, Sark can say that's what he's there to do. I'm not saying that applies to every coach in the world, but you know, I know we had talked about a lot of this matchup. If we're gonna pick who's the better coach, I don't even think it's remotely close.
Can I ask you something, bro?
Go for it.
Because I like that stat that you and Joey hit on. I think y'all double team that one. Pause. Pause. But I think y'all co-opt on that one, man. Y'all had said something about you know, a lot of these close losses that Texas was, you know, running into. It kind of sounded to me like they've been running from that belt. Y'all think Kirby whoop his kids? I'm asking you for real. I'm asking you, man, for real, as my brother, man. You think Kirby whoop his kids?
Oh, it's not even a question.
So, man, you running from that belt. You think you're going to avoid that belt in Athens? Bring your ass to this room. That's what Kirby's saying right now. Get your ass down this hall, man. Let's go, man. We can push. Y'all already know what's going on. Y'all know my vibes for the rest of the week. Don't ask me for my prediction, Joey. You know how I'm feeling.
I'm going to ask you for your prediction, but we'll get to that here in a little bit.
Another reason why I think dogs in this one is kind of like what Graham's talking about with Kirby. Kirby Smart would have Stephen Hawkins thinking he could run through a wall, bro. Like, his pregame speeches are unmatched.
God.
Like, let's be honest, dude. It was crossing my mind when Trent started going. I was like, dude, if we're just going to talk about, like, because I kept saying about Stark kind of getting them to rise to the occasion, play like their heads on fire. But I'm like, at the same time, Smart's about to have them boys playing like their heads on fire too. So, I mean, Texas, we'll see. But I don't know. It's hard to go against.
We getting together for these games this weekend? I know this is completely off, you know, the script here, but we got to watch this slate this weekend, right?
Hey, as long as wherever we watch it got Ole Miss on one TV and Georgia on the other, because we got, you know what I'm saying? We got
well, it can't be my house because YouTube TV is still playing games. So
same. YouTube TV is I'm waiting on that email so I can get my $20 back, so I can get my monies.
My boy waiting on that waiver.
Hey, they said they're gonna send it.
I'll see what we can arrange. We maybe can do something. But yeah, so you know, huge game coming up this week. Logan, I want to talk about the upcoming Ole Miss game real quick. Because obviously not big for the same reason, but you know, I don't want to. Again, I feel like this coaching carousel ad nauseum that we've had to talk about and has been thrown in our face by the people getting fired, is, you know, it is what it is. But I think it would be disingenuous to admit that, hey, this is the team that wants your head coach more than they want oxygen, right? I mean, that just is what it is. So what better impression to make on him than coming into their home stadium and winning? Do I think it'll happen? No.
They're playing at Ole Miss. They're playing at Ole Miss.
Right. That's what I meant as Ole Miss. So playing it, you know, there as in Ole Miss at this point is the enemy because they've got
Okay.
the crown jewel, right? Which is
Okay.
Lane Kiffin.
The way you said it made me think you were thinking we were going into Gainesville. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
I didn't pronounce that correct. I didn't
no, you're
really
good.
clarify
Sorry,
that correctly.
go ahead.
But you know what bigger audition than for this talented group of guys to come here and say, hey, we look at our record. If you come over here, what do you think it's going to be, right? I think again this Florida roster, there's such a conundrum because they beat Texas, they put up a fight with Georgia, and then they go get belt put on them by Kentucky, the worst offense who I thought was the worst offense in the SEC. Beat 38-7. Is Ole Miss the clear team? 10 times out of 10, it's not, or clearly the better team. 10 times out of 10, it's not even a debate. But these Florida guys, man, there's so much talent on that field. How do you look at this game, Logan? I mean, obviously, Florida's playing to ruin seasons at this point.
You want to know my honest opinion, Joey?
Yeah.
This is the biggest game in Ole Miss history. Honest to
Whoa.
God, that's how I feel. This is the biggest game in Ole Miss's history. And not because of the Florida factor. Florida factor is a factor. But you have a coach who is in the rumor mill once again. Well, guess what? You have a chance of making the playoffs for the first time ever in history. It is literally like so close we can almost fucking taste it. Ole Miss always lets us down in these situations. Not only would a win be huge for Lane Kiffin's career and probably be more dollar signs and more interest if he goes to the playoffs and then wants to play around in the coaching carousel. But on top of that, this is the city of Oxford's chance, the state of Mississippi's chance to go sell out an arena, go berserk at a night game in Oxford from kickoff to end, and really show what the University of Mississippi really could be about football-wise. If they do not sell the stadium out, if this stadium does not cause earthquake, I forget how you size earthquakes. If it don't send off
Richter scale?
Seismic activity.
If it doesn't have seismic activity, then Ole Miss fans have let everyone down. Like, I will be completely honest. It has crossed my mind. Let's see, what does it say? Tickets are $184. It has crossed my mind to say fuck it and drive to Oxford, bro. That's literally how I'm feeling about this game. And not to mention, this could be the last time I see Lane Kiffin.
I think you should, bro.
I'm not kidding, bro. It has crossed my mind more than once because with Florida being the guy who's after our guy, and then on top of that, we have a real shot at the playoff, like a real shot. Like Tripp was saying, like, it's no longer fun and games anymore. Like, we're gearing up for playoffs. And not we as in Ole Miss, we as in fans of football, but also the program of Ole Miss for once in their life are gearing up for playoffs. Like, you got to win 2 games that should be winnable. Take care of business. Do what you got to do. Lane Kiffin, if you want to etch your name into history at Ole Miss, even if you do leave us high and dry at the end of the year, this is how you do it. You take us to the playoffs. You prove that we can get over the hump and make the playoffs. Because right now the hump is playoffs for us. It's not championship. Let's be honest. I would love to win a championship, but right now we got to prove we can get to the dance before we can win the dance, you know? So I literally think, and guess what? If we win this game, going into Mississippi State, I'm going to say the same thing. That's going to be the biggest game in Ole Miss history because we literally have a shot. We are on the ropes of playoffs right now. It's game time. It's nut up or shut up. So if this place is not rocking, dude, I'm going to be so upset. The more I think about this, the more I might just have to be directly in front of a TV for this game. Like, I might have to be in a room, dark, locked in, dude. I might have to pull out the projector. I might have to pull out the surround sound. Like, it might have to be crazy. I might have to rent out a theater, dog. Like, I got to figure some shit out. This is a big time game. Like, I literally think this game is that important to the university, to the program of Ole Miss, not even the smaller scale, the larger scale. Like, this literally, like, these next 2 games and games beyond could be turning points for Ole Miss. Because if you go to the playoffs and you win a game or 2, I mean, you're literally talking about changing a program like that. Like, Hugh Freeze proved you could win 10 games at Ole Miss, 9 games at Ole Miss, be top 10 here and there. Lane Kiffin has proven that you can consistently do it. But now is Lane Kiffin going to get over the hump and prove we're a playoff contender? Maybe a championship contender? Because if we win 2 playoff games, immediately next year, people, if he stays at Ole Miss, immediately people are like, oh, they're in the playoff conference. Like, they're in the championship conference. Like, real deal could be a championship. Like, I literally think it could switch like that. So it doesn't get bigger than this for the program and the trajectory of Ole Miss. It doesn't get bigger than this. Like, if you want to prove that you can have an insane program at SEC, in the SEC, like, I think this is the opportunity. You're top 10. You're 2 games away from playoffs. You're at home. The team who is trying, like you said, who wants our coach more than they want oxygen, they're coming. And they beat us last year. If you can tally them for the reason we didn't make the playoffs last year. You can tally Kentucky. You can tally however you want to spin it. Any of the 3 losses we had last year, you can try to point the finger and say, that's why we didn't make playoffs. So for me, like, there's no way Ole Miss's players, fans are not just absolutely fired up, dude. Like, this is what you play for. Like, this is why you go to a school like Ole Miss and not Alabama or Ohio State. You know, like, if you got that mentality of the underdog mentality and you want to change a program, if that's your mentality, this is your opportunity. And this specifically, this game, you can show, and fans can prove to Kiffin. Kiffin can prove to the world that Ole Miss can be a winner, however you want to spin it. This game, I literally think is the biggest game in Ole Miss football history. I literally think that.
I kind of want to go to the game now. Good God. That was a point.
I'm not exaggerating, dude. Like, I can sit here for 20 minutes and tell you why I think it's so important, but Lane Kiffin is a huge reason. But also, I mean, Ole Miss could be in the playoffs in the first time, or in, first time ever. But, like, when the last time have we really felt this much hype, Like, and honestly, my favorite part about this all, I kind of feel like we're flowing under the radar right now. And I love that. Please don't put the hype on us. Please don't put those expectations on. It kind of seems like it's like, yeah, Ole Miss is doing good. They're 86% to make playoffs, and then they keep it moving. And I'm like, thank the Lord. Yes, just keep it rolling. If they talk about Ole Miss, they're talking about Kiffin's leaving or something, Like, they're not really talking about our football program as far as, like, what's going on right now, today, this week, stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, that's how important I think it is. I know I rambled. I apologize, but I literally think this is that big of a game for the program of Ole Miss. Like,
no, we definitely wouldn't have had that perspective from anyone else. So if you're watching this, yeah, we're talking about our teams today. We said we didn't watch football, so get over it.
Yeah, suck it.
Yeah.
Got married. What do you want from us?
I did.
That's true. my fault, Graham.
Overachiever.
But yeah, so I mean, that's
about time, Logan.
Like you said, kind of between kind of your coaches, I'm not gonna say job being on the line because he's fired, but him being there, kind of being at contention right now, on top of every game here, is we could get out of the playoffs if we lose this game. I totally see that perspective that you're taking on that. Again, I think Ole Miss clearly the better team here, but obviously those implications that we've spoken of definitely I think resonate with others who are even outside the fan base. Logan or Graham, Tripp, hit on something for this game real quick. Some of y'all are looking out for before we pick some games for this weekend.
Meet me at the altar in your white dress. We ain't getting no younger. We might as well did that shit. My boy got married, man. I'm gonna pass him the mic and I'm gonna let him cook. He look good. Hey, he look good tonight too, man. No kidding.
All that for a transition.
Necessary. Whatever y'all need, man. Hey, whatever. All y'all who play that little childish shit, man. Whatever y'all need to do, deal with that, man. But my boy looking like $1 million tonight, and he married.
Damn, I'm getting gassed up tonight. This is crazy.
Hey, Chip, just go ahead and let us see that thing one more time, man.
I mean, yeah, just peep it. Just peep the rose gold.
Band. That
shit kind of got a ring to it. Y'all heard that? Kind of got a ring to it.
It does have a nice ring to it.
No, I'm gonna be completely honest. This game, I know, Logan, this is obviously a really important game for not only Ole Miss, but for the fan base as well, to kind of get some understanding as to where everything is headed from this point. I'm going to keep it a buck with you, brother. Ole Miss is about to put belt to fucking ass on Florida this weekend. I don't see, especially after last week. I think that the ride and the hype, I mean, and I'm going to say this as a Georgia fan, and I really do mean this wholeheartedly. Georgia is Florida's Super Bowl every year, no matter how good or bad they are. So when people look at the result of that game, obviously it was a close game. Georgia played from behind in a little bit of that game. That does not reflect this Florida team at all. Now, do they have a lot of talent? Yes, but they also have an interim head coach, and they have no idea where their future is right now with these players. They have a lot of injury. They're two of their best players are hurt right now, and they're out for the rest of the season. So they're hanging on by, a thread right now as it is. Mr. Gatorade Player of the Year got benched last week. So I just think that this program is just, honestly, at this point, which I don't see why they wouldn't, is just kind of giving up on the season. Their last goal was to beat Georgia. They don't go in and think, oh, we got to knock Ole Miss off their high horse. I mean, obviously they're not going to go in there and try to lose on purpose, but I don't even think it's going to be close. I think the spread is like 15.5. I think Ole Miss covers that shit with ease. And I'm not even trying to be funny because I'm a Georgia fan. I'm being dead serious.
Hey, you were right about South Carolina, so let's hope you're right on this one too, bud.
I'm telling you, it's about to be the same result, and it might be worse.
That'd be a statement. I'll say that.
Logan,
that too.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off, bro. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
No, Logan, I was gonna say this, man. Let me say this and not be considered trying to kill the party, because you already know I'm right there with y'all. I'm popping champagne. I'm hoping y'all put. But anytime a Gator get their ass spanked, you ain't never gonna hear me, trying to step in and keep that from happening. But this is not y'all's trap game. So y'all very well may put John Norman's belt to ass this weekend, because this is not y'all's trap game. Kamario Taylor and that Mississippi State team is y'all's trap game.
Rivalries are not trap games. I'm just saying that now. Rivalries are not trap games.
Agreed.
A whole different atmosphere, in my opinion.
I think it could be one.
But it can be when the freaking the consequences are so lopsided. To me, it's
fair
like
point. That's a fair point.
They are not coming in there beyond the fact that Levy might be coaching for his job.
No, he's not.
I think that's silly. But if they do want to go there, maybe. But beyond that, what leverage does Mississippi State have beyond that? To knock y'all off. I mean, I just think that as far as this week, I think that Lane is so locked in. Whether this is his last year coaching y'all or not, I think that this season and what he's able to do with Trinidad is going to be the blueprint for the rest of his career. I really do feel that way. Like, he's kind of showing us, I might not ever be able to out-recruit Kirby and Sark, but this formula that I have and that I formulated out here in Mississippi, it's patent proven at this point. Y'all do have to get over that bridge. Y'all got to get over that hump, and this will be, a part of that collective push. I see y'all not. I don't see y'all running into much problems. I don't even know if Dallas Wilson will be healthy this week. So that
he's out for the year.
Yeah, they're limited on the outside. That's why I'm more worried about Mississippi State, because they're not limited in any departments. They got a deep wide receiver room and all that. I still got y'all beating them, but this week I'm not worried about y'all at all. The Rebels are going to win.
I want to say this. I've given more props to Mississippi State than anyone on this podcast.
I agree.
And it's because Jeff Lebby is not coaching for his job. Jeff Lebby is a step closer to taking that turn, and he's proved that so many times. Like, he's been a step away, a play away.
I only threw that out there if they wanted to spin that, Logan. I didn't mean it that way, bro.
Okay. But I don't think Jeff Lebby, I think he's overperformed this year, even with the record being what the record is. They're 5-5 or 4. No, they're 4-5, 4-6. I don't know, whatever they are. But they've overperformed in my book. I've hyped them up pretty much all year. I don't think I'm still going to stick with my guns. I don't think I consider trap games rivalry games. I think every rivalry game is a trap game if that's how we're going to spin it. But there's a lot for Mississippi State to show up for that week. However, at the end of the day, you got to focus on the team in front of you. And right now we got the Gators. The Gators got a ton of talent. They want our coach more than anything. There's a lot of hype around this game. So got to stay focused. As Lane Kiffin says, can't take the rat poison. We got to stay locked in. So,
yeah. So I think we all see how we're rolling with that one, but we'll still give him in our official. Oops, sorry, this thing disappeared from me. In our official prediction. But let's go ahead and look at this weekend's slate. Pick some games from it. Get it pulled up. All right. So, this weekend's pick, and we're going to start actually on Friday, 7:30 Eastern. I don't know why I said Eastern, but Clemson at Louisville. Louisville 2.5-point favorite. Does this smell like an unranked Louisville after this game to y'all? Louisville? Sorry, you got to say it like if you're saying it right, you got to say it like you have marbles in your mouth. It's Louisville.
Program.
Yeah, Louisville. I think this is Clemson is 4-5 right now. They're fighting to be bowl eligible. Obviously for them not making the playoffs is kind of not acceptable, but so is making a bowl season is inconceivable for them. Or not making a bowl game is inconceivable. So Louisville's a 2.5-point favorite, but I think the Tigers pull off the upset.
I know we're talking a lot about coaches coaching for the job this weekend. Somebody who is definitely one of those people is Mr. Dabo himself. So I'm taking Clemson in this one as well.
Hey, y'all hung me out to dry when I say who was on the hot seat, but
they've progressed. They've made improvements. Although they're 4-5 the last 3 to 4 weeks, even though they lost to Duke, I really think that some could say they should have won that game. But I think they have enough to do what it takes to beat Louisville.
I guess since I blurted out and objected, I'll go ahead and say that I think Louisville will beat Clemson and continue that onslaught of just a terrible season that they're dealing with over there in Clemson. I think Louisville pulls it out.
Yes, I agree. I think I don't remember. I was trying to find it real quick. I don't remember the stat off the top of my head. Jeff Brom is pretty ridiculous against top ACC schools. I know that Clemson currently is not falling under that umbrella. However, my point is he shows up for games. Clemson will be bowl eligible, Joey, to your point. They will beat Furman, and they will beat South Carolina, and they will be 6-6, and maybe Dabo's looking for a job in the offseason. However, I think Louisville is just better than them this year, than Clemson. I think Louisville is going to beat them, and Clemson will be bowl eligible, but it's because they have two scrubs next, which is going to be Furman, and then I think they're probably better in South Carolina this year, which doesn't say much, but
are they though?
Oh, we'll get a chance to find out. We'll get that chance to find out.
Once again, it is a rivalry game, so you never know. But.
Yeah. But so we split on that one. And hey, will we do this? Let's just go in order of how this is down here. So it'll go me, Trip, Grant, blah, blah, blah. Not doing Wisconsin and Indiana, but how about that game sealing snag at the end? Maybe the play of the year this year so far?
Oh, crazy.
That was insane.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah. On the ropes, about to lose to Penn State, and then you pull that out. I'm really impressed with that Indiana team. I think we all feel the same about this one, but with me covering this team, I feel like we got to mention South Carolina A&M. A&M is an 18.5-point favorite, which kind of seems insane for me for them to be that big of a favorite. I could be totally out there for that. But yeah, Aggies at home early in the day. They're definitely going to run away with it. And I think the Lenore Sellers sweepstakes is going to be open about who's going to have him in the portal next year. I think that's because if you're Sellers, why in the world would you stay at South Carolina? Just makes no sense to me. But yeah, taking the Aggies.
Yeah, I know we were talking about Ole Miss putting some belt to ass. We might see the starters coming out in the third quarter in this one. I don't think this is even going to be remotely close. Marcel Reed might have his shoulder pads off before that fourth quarter even starts. So, yeah, give me A&M by 1 million.
I do want to say, though, while Carolina haven't been able to put them into wins, most of the game, except for Oklahoma, or even Oklahoma, they've been
close
in the third, early four quarters in one-score games with most of these teams.
Yeah, that ain't happening this week, brother.
Fair enough. All right.
I'm gonna kind of be the contrarian here. I think we all been looking for that word for a couple of weeks, and we all do a good job of trying to at least play that part at least one time an episode. I don't think South Carolina is going to win. We'll probably go 4 straight picking A&M to win, but I do think it'll be close, and I feel that way because of how they played Bama. And if South Carolina can somehow miraculously keep their head out of their own ass in the last 2 quarters of this game, it could be very, very like super interesting. We just beat the brakes off Mississippi State. I don't think we're as talented as Texas A&M, and A&M had to go to overtime against Mississippi State, right? Is that correct? Or maybe they just beat them by 5, but either way, they didn't beat them by a touchdown. And I think that A&M is maybe not twice as, but 1.5 times as talented as UGA is. That has nothing to do with what I feel like their roster plays like or coaching or anything like that. But A&M is going to continue to have to deal with like, okay, we're the top dog. We're who people projected Georgia and Bama to be this year. And they got to wear that hat for the rest of the season. I think that's going to be challenging enough. So is it going to be too challenging for them to win? No, but I think it'll be enough to keep it close this weekend.
I think you're referring to A&M Arkansas. A&M beat Mississippi State 31-9.
Damn, I was wrong. Mississippi State, A&M is the only other team to lay belt on Mississippi State. Yeah, A&M might really put belt to ass. I was dead wrong, Trip. Shit.
They did go.
You just threw my whole prognosis off. They really might bust their ass this weekend, man. Shit.
They did go shot for shot with Arkansas, though. They only won 45-42. So,
yeah, fair point.
Yeah, I think earlier you mentioned that the Mississippi State game also, Graham, and I was thinking because I think Mississippi State hung in there until like third quarter, and then A&M just ran it up on them. So, but yeah, I'm with Trip. A&M might score more points in the first half, maybe first quarter, than South Carolina probably does all game. I got no faith in South Carolina on this one. South Carolina doesn't even average 20 points a game, and you got A&M averaging 38. That right there covers the spread damn near, you know. So I definitely think that A&M wins big, and it's at Kyle Field. You're telling me South Carolina's going to go in there against 120,000?
That's a good point.
Kyle Field.
That's a good point. That's a good point. If
The
it was
Kyle
in
Field
South
is
Carolina,
crazy.
I could see them keeping it close, Logan. But the fact it's at Kyle is crazy.
Y'all know how when Georgia was beating TCU in the national championship, we had players eating chicken wings on the sideline.
They about to be eating chicken wings.
That's about to be what Texas A&M is about to be doing on Saturday. Boys.
Nah, they said they bring up from the what do they call them? The fake army bringing out chicken wings.
Yeah,
that's the highlight of my life right there.
Well, Matt Olson in the background, funny enough. Okay, well, we'll move on to another probably more competitive game. Notre Dame, number 9 at 22 Pitt. Notre Dame 11.5-point favorite. I think they're going to roll. Since starting off 0-2, they kept getting better, and they know that at least we assume that they have to keep winning to make the playoffs. Love me some Marcus Freeman, and Notre Dame rolls on game day.
Give me Pitt. I know that Notre Dame is a pretty heavy favorite in this, and I think that the entire nation is going to be rooting for Pitt this week. And it's at Pitt, College Game Day. I think they said this is like the first time since like the 80s or something that College Game Day has been to Pitt. I think there's going to be a lot of hype around this. I would love nothing more than to see Pitt. I don't think they're going to put belt to ass, but Pitt has 2 losses, and they're also both by 1 possession, just like Notre Dame is this year. And one of those is to Louisville, who beat Miami. So I think that this is a team that could make some shake, and this is going to be an upset that we talk about next week on the pod.
Trip, I didn't make the face I made when you announced that you had Pitt winning because I disagreed. I made that face because I did not project you taking my pick. I thought I was going to be the only one on the panel to pick Pitt to come out of here with an upset. And honestly, I make that I swing this way with my vote for this game because for people who haven't had the privilege of visiting the great state of Pennsylvania, visiting all those, they got like 5 or 6 different cities there that all offer something different. It's a really diverse state, but Pittsburgh within itself, man, outside of the South and specifically the Southeast, I don't know if like anywhere else in the country bleeds football as hard. Of course, you got to throw Texas in there, even though they're not Southeast, but they're the South. Ohio and Pennsylvania, they love them some football up there, man. They really do. Like they love them some football up there. That's their favorite damn sport in Pittsburgh. They don't give a damn about basketball. They don't even have a basketball team. in Pittsburgh. They love football. And the Panthers are no different when it comes to how their fans step for them. I do get behind, what Tripp is getting at with the energy and the charisma behind this team. They do have 2 losses. They know their backs are against the wall. Give me Pitt with the upset.
And real quick, don't forget, Pitt is also fighting for a spot in the ACC title game right now. They're in 3rd in the ACC. They're the third highest ranked ACC team right now, with the same record as Tech and Virginia. So there is a lot of implications on this game for them.
And with that being said, how sweet would it be for Pitt to beat Notre Dame, the team that refuses to join a conference but wants to play an ACC-heavy schedule? How sweet would it be for Pitt to ruin those playoff hopes? I think Notre Dame wins it. I just believe in Freeman. Marcus Freeman's a great coach. I hate to root for anything Notre Dame. I despise Notre Dame. I can't stand them. Them and USC for me, like those are just a couple of teams that are always overranked, always overhyped. I just can never get behind them. However, I can get behind Marcus Freeman. He's a very good coach. So I think they win, but I think I said it a couple weeks ago. They got Pitt coming up. I don't really believe Pitt's going to win, but y'all don't know how happy it would make me if they could pull it off. And it would be even better because if Notre Dame was in the ACC, Pitt would not even be in the conversation for the championship game. But because Notre Dame will not join a conference because their TV deal, blah, 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 whatever, work it out, figure it out. It's 2025. I think that it would be hilarious for a team to have that extra in them to be able to try to upset a team like Notre Dame to put themselves in an ACC title game would be hilarious. And I would love it. So, Pitt, please do me a favor. Please make me happy. And beat them. I just think Notre Dame's going to do it. I think Freeman's too good of a coach to let this one slip by him. And also, one quick thing while we're on this game before we get off of it. Nothing really against Pitt, nothing really against Notre Dame on this one, but I can't stand when games like this are college game day when you got a top 10 matchup. I get it. You've been to Georgia, but come on, man. Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't know. I don't care if we got to go to Alabama 3 times a year or LSU 3 times a year, Georgia, whatever. If they're in top 10 matchups, make that the focal point. Like, especially Texas. We're over here talking about ACC championship game implications, which I guess could theoretically go into the playoffs, but there's no direct implications like Georgia and Texas for playoffs. Like, come on. But
hey, if college game day going there is what helps Pitt knock Notre Dame off, they can have it.
hey, that's fair.
We'll be fired up. So next game at 3:30, Oklahoma at Alabama, 11 at 4. Alabama 6.5 point favorite. I'm out on this Oklahoma team personally, as far as being a playoff contender or going any further. I think the offense has really peaked. And Alabama, for my money, scariest team in the country right now. I think Bama wins by 2 possessions.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. Nothing really worth pointing out other than the fact that, like we had talked about on one of our previous episodes, if I had to pick one team to win a national championship right now and had to put cash on it, it would probably be Alabama. So I think they handle business with ease. And we've talked about this before with how cheap some of these tickets are. $47 to go watch Alabama-Oklahoma this weekend.
Interesting. I said interesting.
Yeah. The only other thing, too, is, this is a game that Alabama laid an egg on last year when Oklahoma had like 5 of their starting receivers out and somehow still beat them. Yeah, that's not going to happen again. You can bet your money that Kalen DeBoer is going to be wearing that black hoodie and they're going to be taking care of business.
No, to the same point that Logan made about why Ole Miss going to really be trying to lay serious belt this weekend because Florida beat them last year. I think that's why Ty Simpson and them boys are going to lay serious belt this weekend against Oklahoma. I'm not going to be harsh on Oklahoma and call them a pretender and, just really drag the point. I ain't going to do all that, but I don't think they're built for it this year. And games like this are what show you that. Games like this are what drive that point home. So the tie will roll, no pun intended. It paid me to even say that.
Yeah, so kind of like what you're saying here, Graham. I don't Damn, I'm gonna be honest. I just lost my train of thought. What? Oh, you're talking about you don't want to call Oklahoma a pretender. I agree with that statement. I don't want to call them pretender either. I think they just fell victim to the injury, and the injury that hit them was the biggest one. I mean, you had a quarterback who was balling. Like Mateer was going berserk to start this season. I mean, I think he was Heisman front runner. They were undefeated. Like them boys are rolling. So I think injury bug just kind of hit them and changed that whole trajectory of that season for them, which is kind of crazy because Ole Miss had an injury hit them and it changed the trajectory for the better because we found a diamond in the rough in our backup. That did not work out for Oklahoma. They literally had a Heisman front runner, and he really just hasn't been the same since he came back. And it's
because your team's better coach and has the better quarterback. I'm sorry. I think Trinidad maybe not today is better than Mateer, but give me Trinidad over Mateer in the long run. I'm not going to do it though.
Yeah, I mean,
we got to push.
I think Oklahoma's a solid team. I just kind of think that just kind of messed up their trajectory. They don't seem to have been able to bounce back from it. I mean, they've won some games and whatnot, but I think, dude, Bama's rolling. I don't see Bama losing this one, especially not at home. But yeah, that is awfully, awfully cheap for that game for a not quite a top 10 matchup. But you got 11 versus 4 for $47. You can't really beat that.
Yeah, agreed.
Can I just jump in real quick? Because I feel like you're about to skip this game. And if you're not skipping the game, I apologize. Miami, North Carolina State. North Carolina State have played upset to a couple of teams now. That's one I think I might would watch. And also for $3 in that game is crazy.
Oh my God.
$3 to go catch a game at the Hard Rock, bro.
Yeah, but North Carolina State has beat Louisville and they have beat Georgia Tech. So that's
true. I'm glad you brought that up. They could make it a trifecta.
I mean, maybe Miami just shuts them down and North Carolina State's ran out of steam. But North Carolina State seems to play upset a lot this year. So I'm just saying I kind of circling that one. I might not watch it, but I'll be keeping tabs throughout Saturday probably just to kind of.
We definitely will. We may have something else to talk about next week with that. Okay, another 3:30 game. Iowa at USC. USC 6.5-point favorite. Again, like me and Graham have been saying all year, I really like this offense. And if there's a offense I probably will never like, nor will anybody ever outside of their state, it's Iowa. So yeah, I'm taking the Trojans here. Will they do this? Fight on.
No, they do this, Joey. They wave to the kids in the hospital. You're doing it wrong.
Wow. Okay. Did not see that one going that way.
My bad.
All right. Yeah, I think this is going to be a better game than a lot of people think. USC obviously has, one of the highest powered offenses in the country. Iowa State has Iowa has 3 losses, one of them being Iowa State, the other 2 being playoff teams right now, one being Indiana and Oregon. They gave Oregon hell on Saturday.
Yeah.
I think Dante Moore only threw for like 120-something yards or 110 yards, something crazy like that. They just have a defense that just suffocates you. So I think the USC is going to have a lot of problems in this one. I'm honestly torn on who to pick here. I'm probably going to fuck it. Give me Iowa.
All right.
They've only lost when they lost to Indiana. They lost to Indiana and Oregon for a combined 7 points between those 2 games. And those are 2 playoff teams. So screw it. Give me Iowa. Upset.
I'm not mad at that trip because USC do be playing kind of like a here nigga damn offense. Like, here, just cook up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just Makai, damn, cook up. Like, the offense not really working. Like, you can't take that shit to the crib real quick. Like, and Iowa is kind of the epitome of a team that you do not want to run into them. When you don't have your shit all the way together. Iowa is a team that you can put away early, but you got to have your shit all the way together. And that's on both sides of the ball. Are they playing in Iowa, y'all?
No, that's USC.
Well, it's not like they even have a home field advantage no way. So give me the Trojans to win, but they're going to really squeak by. They might need a safety to win this shit. They might need something. They might need Reggie to come in the 4th and start calling plays or something. But I think it will be close to Tripp's point because that Iowa defense is still legit.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know how to follow up Tripp or Graham right there because Graham just killed me. And when Tripp said, fuck it, give me Iowa, it just reminded me of Lee Corso throwing the head, you know? I don't know if y'all remember that clip, but both of y'all just made me laugh. So shout out to y'all. I just kind of I think Tripp touched on it. I just don't know if I can believe in an Iowa offense to contend with a USC offense in this game. Iowa's offense seems like for years now has been their biggest problem. They always have a tough, gritty team. Their defense is solid. They're always in the top 25-ish. It seems like they're always in and out of the rankings. They're always solid. I know I say I don't believe in USC, but I think their offense is just going to be too good for Iowa, and I don't see Iowa's offense being able to step up to it. But I do hear you, Tripp. I was not even – I'm going to be honest. You kind of just broke news to me. I didn't realize that they played Indiana and Oregon both close like that. So, I mean, yeah, I was solid, but that's kind of how they always are. They're kind of the gritty team, it seems like.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was Iowa in the Big Ten championship last year with Ohio State? Or was it the year before?
It was Oregon and Penn State last year.
It was the year before then. It was Ohio State, Iowa, right?
Yeah, because Iowa's punter was the best player on their team.
Yeah.
That was when they had drafted 5th round or something crazy.
Wasn't that when they had that?
You talking about Cooper DeJeans last year?
Taylor.
You talking about Cooper DeJeans last year, his senior year or his junior year?
Yeah. I think that's what.
And I think their punter was Shane Taylor or something like that, and he got drafted 4th or 5th round, maybe 3rd. He got drafted somewhere crazy.
Oh, he was a bad man.
Yeah, he was nice.
Okay, well, we'll pick these last two games we really have gotten into as far as teams. First we'll go Ole Miss or Florida at number 7. Ole Miss. Ole Miss over a 2-touchdown favorite, 15.5 points. I got the Rebels rolling in this one. All the stakes Logan talked about are very real. I think that this team is aware of what's at stake, and they're about to put on a clinic. There's a lot of injuries on that Florida roster, which beginning of the year kind of made me pull my choice to pick Florida. I thought Florida might upset Georgia, but those injuries just seem to be piling up a little too quickly. That's the problem now as well. But yeah, give me the Rebels.
I'm not even going to say any words. All I'm going to say is
the belt.
That's what Ole Miss is about to do, bro.
Okay. Little belt action.
You got Eugene Wilson. You've got Dallas Wilson out. You got, the guy I picked to be the Heisman preseason, who clearly isn't even close to that.
Both Wilsons is out, Trip?
Yeah. From what I saw. It's.
Logan, I don't know what you worried about, bro.
Not even about to be close. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Logan, we can roll right into whatever Logan about to close out with because we ain't about to play like that.
I appreciate that.
Hey, unless Trevor Ball grow 8 arms like a motherfucking octopus and start playing every position on offense, what they about to do?
You mean Jalen Ball?
Jalen Ball, part of me, yeah.
Fair enough.
I hear you, Graham, but I'm just a traumatized Ole Miss fan who's been let down too many times before. Is all this comes down to. I will say this. Obviously, my pick is Ole Miss. That's very clear, I think. Not even really trying to play homer. Y'all know I picked Georgia over us. I've tried my best to keep it realistic. I am biased, though. I will say this, though. During the South Carolina game, 4th quarter, once Ole Miss took off with it, the entire stadium had belts out. I'm telling you now, if Ole Miss runs off against Florida and our fans start bringing belts out and doing what they were doing, bro, it is going to be electric. And I am here to watch this electric factory. Ole Miss night game really was good against South Carolina, so I know y'all keep talking about the team and stuff like that, but for me, it's about the fans, man. Lane Kiffin, since he's been there, has begged and begged and begged to have a fan base stay for all game, not get so drunk where halftime you're slouched or leaving or whatever. Or some fans getting so drunk they don't make it to games. We're a party school, yes. Lane Kiffin is doing everything in his power and will to turn us into a football school and not a party school. We can party after the game, let's win and then party. So I really just hope the fans show up in this one. I'm picking Ole Miss, and I just pray that we see the scene of belts in hands and they're just smacking them, because it was hilarious to see it against South Carolina. It'd be even better against Florida. So give me the Rebs, obviously, and everybody say a prayer, because every game to this point. We could be playing Citadel again next week, and I'm going to get a little more nervous because we're just getting that much closer to making history of our program. So,
well, there we go. Clean sweep on that one for us. Last one. Top 10 matchup, number 10 Texas at number 5 Georgia, 7:30 Georgia, 6.5 point favorite. We talked about it earlier. I really feel good about where this Georgia team's at right now. My question is, how dynamic is Arch Manning going to be? If he's kind of the guy that we see most of the season, who's been relatively disappointed, fair or unfairly, given the hype he was given, Georgia's going to run away with this one, and I'm leaning on that to happen. So give me them dogs, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously a lot of this is going to be determined on who shows up where, but I'll be completely honest. If the best Texas shows up versus the best Georgia, I still don't see a world where Texas comes out ahead. So give me the dogs. I think it is going to be a good game. I don't know that Georgia runs away with it, but I think that Georgia handles business, and I just want to see us put Arch Manning in the same blender we put him in last year when they brought him in.
Yeah, Trip, I think some people, and not that I'm trying to overweigh or put too much weight onto how much last season factors into this season, but let's not act like there's some guys on this roster, as far as UGA's roster, who weren't playing in that game. They saw Arch. They were able to see some of Arch, some of his early tendencies and things of that nature. And the history between this team already, even though it's only been two games as far as like Sark versus Kirby, this edition of the matchup. I do think it's been a huge like mental game each time it's been played. I got the dogs winning solely because of what we already hit on, man. The coaching and the quarterback play, it's going to just become way too evident in the pivotal moments of this game how much more important it is to have those two factors than having a better pass rush. I think Georgia will win this game and not have as many sacks as Texas. And I hope they drive my point home. Go dogs, fuck the horns.
Well said. Yeah, I'm taking the dogs here, kind of like we were talking about earlier. I believe too much in Kirby Smart. I mean, I don't know what more to really say. Arch Manning, I don't want to say this could be like a legacy game for him, but if there's ever a time for Arch Manning to say, "Nah, I'm really him," this would be an excellent opportunity to step up and do it. Not saying I think it's going to happen.
That's the truth.
But man, what a stage you are presented with. You get to keep yourself in the playoff talks. You get to go into Athens and possibly knock off number 5. Like, the stage is set for Texas. Do they perform? That's what it comes down to. I got the dogs, but the stage is set. Start, Arch, however you want to spin it. The stage is set. It's just about if they show up to it and perform. So I do think the dogs got it, but see what Texas is about.
With all but one of our picks, we'll see on Saturday. But guys, appreciate everybody tuning in. Have the NFL episode coming this week. Talking about a coaching carousel that's going on in the NFL now, it seems like. So I have a lot to look into that. Again, appreciate everybody tuning in. Trip, once again, congratulations, brother.
Congrats, brother.
Congrats, I appreciate y'all coming for the occasion.
All right, so
peace.
Peace, y'all.